blessed occasion every year, the U.S. Open, get out your orange golf balls. Oakmont is going to be one filthy, gnarly test for these guys. See who comes out and the bed. That's a tough break for John Rahm. It looks like he's gone into the devil there by the 13th green. I want to see them struggle for a change. Man, a blessed occasion every year in the world of sports. The U.S. Open gets underway today in Pennsylvania at Oakmont. And if you believe the word on the ground, the conditions this year are extra nasty. And the U.S. Open is always considered the toughest test in golf. The USGA sets it up hard, usually. We've had a few setups over the course of the last decade or so that didn't quite seem to be USGA worthy, but man, some of the videos that are coming out of Pennsylvania this week indicate that Oakmont is going to be one filthy, gnarly test for these guys, and I'm here for it. Let's go to Tyrrell Hatton. You may know he's on the LIV Tour now, but a fine golfer, one of the world's best, a Ryder Cupper. And here he is struggling just to find his ball. And we all, look, if you play golf like I do, we all struggle to find our ball. My ball is off in the woods somewhere. But to lose your ball this close to the fairway is pretty stupid, even by the standards of professional golf, even by the standards of major championship professional golf. So how do you approach a situation like this, even if you're one of the world's best? I don't know how you even strike the ball there. You just hit and hope. These guys, they're going to find themselves in rough that is so thick. It's going to be thicker than the shag carpet that we had back in Horse Cave in 1977. And I'm here for it. I want to see these guys struggle a little bit. And it takes a lot of manpower to get these courses set up and ready to be the test that is the U.S. Open. Have a look at this fleet of lawnmowers. Look at this grounds crew. They're not completely cruel. They're going to manicure part of the course. But look at that. It looks like an anthill with everybody going crazy around this bunker here. And look at this guy. Look at that sweet bastard. Getting the job done. I hope that he got a Budweiser when he was finished after that. He's out there doing the Lord's work, but listen, I don't know if there are enough lawnmowers if you talk to the players that are going to be undergoing this test of golf. Here's Colin Morikawa, one of the finest players in the world, a two-time major champion. Look at that. Can barely move it greenside, pin high. This guy, again, it bears repeating, has won the British Open, has won the PGA Championship. I believe he's ranked squarely inside the top 10 in the world right now. Doing well just to move the ball. It is going to be absolutely filthy. Here's my recommendation. Going back to my experience as a young man in the 1980s, I'm going to give a pro tip to the pros this week and say, get out your orange golf balls. That's right. I had Pinnacles. I wasn't playing Top Flight in those days. I was playing the Pinnacle orange balls, but I remember it well. The official golf ball of its 1982. And I'm about to shoot a 63 for 8 holes and break my putter over my knee and go home and get drunk. Well, I wasn't going home and getting drunk in 1982. I was 11 years old. I went home and had a Canada Dry ginger ale and reconsidered my life. But, it's very interesting here when you think about what's the score going to be. Ronnie T-Shirts said on this program that he's looking forward to rooting for the golf course. And it is kind of demented. Like, what's the word? Schadenfreude? The German word for taking delight in the misfortune or the misery of others. I think for all of us hacks who aren't any good at the game of golf, and we see how great the pros make it look, and we enjoy seeing that greatness. And most of the year, we like to see birdies and eagles and guys shooting 63s and 64s, but not when it comes to the U.S. Open. This is it right here. Let's make this as absolutely punitive as is possible. I want to see them struggle for a change. And I was doing a little bit of research into the history of the U.S. Open. And since 1980, I'm here to tell you there have been 5 U.S. Opens where the winner finished over par. And that's what I'm hoping for this week. It hasn't happened since 2018. I'm going to give you the 5 times it's happened. 2006, Jeff Ogilvy, 5 over par. That's pretty brutal. 2007, Angel Cabrera, 5 over par. Guess where the 2007 U.S. Open was played? Oakmont. That's right. 2012 and 2013, Webb Simpson and Justin Rose, 1 over. Back-to-back years, and then Brooks Koepka was 1 over in 2018. There has been 1 U.S. Open at Oakmont since Angel Cabrera finished 5 over in 2007. That occurred in 2016. Dustin Johnson won his first major there, 4 under par. One more note for you here while I'm doing my Zach Galifianakis math as the numbers float around on the screen in front of me. Can't you almost see them? The greatest U.S. Open for the misery of the best players in the world occurred at Winged Foot in 1974. It is still referred to as the Massacre at Winged Foot. Hale Irwin won the first of his 3 U.S. Opens by finishing 7 over par. So maybe if we're really lucky, let's light a candle and all join hands and hope that we see something freakish like that, because I think it would do my heart good. Now, Bryson DeChambeau was asked the question, what would an ordinary schmo like you or me shoot under these conditions? And let's just say his answer was not particularly optimistic for our chances.
Probably 100 on the front 9.
If they finish, it's got to be 110 to 120. 120.
And why?
I mean, the greens are so slick.
100 for the front 9. Now, I think Bryson's exaggerating a little bit. Justin Thomas saying 110, 120. The chef there, the last guy that you talked to, some of you know what I'm talking about. He said 120. Justin Thomas said if they finish, but I think that this got JT thinking a little bit, and he actually tweeted about this. And I think this is a fun idea. I would watch it. Look at this tweet from Justin Thomas saying, so much talk about what would X handicap shoot at Oakmont. Well, why don't we find out? Let's find a way to make it happen, he says. Have a 5, a 10, an 18, whatever handicap. Go out and play on Monday. After this thing is over, it's still going to be set up. U.S. Open conditions, one day after the Sunday pin placements, all of that. Let's get somebody out there, back tees, full rules of golf. That means no mulligans, no gimmies, no bullshit, none of the stuff that we do when we're out playing with our buddies, and see what happens. What do you think you'd shoot if you played Oakmont on Monday morning? Do I think that I could break 120? Probably not. And there you see it. Once again, we were looking at it earlier in the program. The U.S. Open getting underway today at Oakmont, and it takes a lot of people to get a course in the kind of conditions that are needed to test the world's best golfers. And you can see some of those sweet bastards out there doing the Lord's work. Look at that right there. That is, I don't know, that guy looks like he's training to take on Dustin Fink, is what it appears to me. The 2024 Thursday Night Mowing League champion. You know what? On this occasion, all the talk this week about the conditions at Oakmont being so penal, I thought who better to bring onto the program to discuss the U.S. Open and everything that goes into creating a hazardous test of golf than the commissioner of the Thursday Night Mowing League, and I guess on this occasion, U.S. Open conditions correspondent. He is the senior director of content for OutKick. Joe Kinsey joins the program. Joe, what goes in to setting up major championship golf conditions? We see the tournament come on. We take for granted that the greens are slick and the rough is high and everything is just precisely the way that the USGA wants it to be in this case. What goes into it from an expert mowing perspective?
Ricky, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's afternoon on a Thursday. My schedule is tight. You know that. I probably shouldn't even be here, but I took time out of my busy schedule as the commissioner to be here. Ricky, first of all, I saw the rough at the U.S. Open. I don't need Viagra these days, Ricky, but this video, all these videos that are popping out of the U.S. Open, I'll tell you what, Ricky, for the commissioner of the Mowing League, this stuff is pure Viagra, pure rocket fuel, seeing the turf as glorious as it is. 5 inches, Ricky. That's what they're measuring the turf at. 5 inches. I had a reader send in. He was there on Monday. It covered up an Aquafina water bottle, Ricky. That's how thick this turf is. It is enough to send a mowing guy into a different world, Ricky. Sorry about that.
I believe that may be more than 5 inches.
Yeah.
Joe.
Well, it's it grows quick, Ricky. They've got that stuff on PED.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, we have seen it, guys losing their balls in this stuff. Guys who can't move it more than a couple of feet. Yeah,
balls deep.
It is pretty much the case here. All right, Joe, let's get on to the subject matter that is, I know, very close to your heart, the Thursday Night Mowing League. Give me the latest. I'm hearing, Joe, that we got some new rules for 2025. The people need to know what they are, what went into the thought process of these new rules. Let us know what's going on with the TNML.
Yeah, so there is a point system this year. The league advances. It needs new structure. Every year it's changing. The emotions go higher every single year. And so this year I said, let's bring in a point system. I said, you get a point if you're patriotic. You get a point if you show that you have your dog in the photo next to your mower. There is even a point system for using drones, Ricky. Maybe we'll even bring in AI. Again, it's always evolving. You gotta be up on your game in the Thursday Night Mowing League because you can't just sit there and let it get old. It has to advance. There's the rules. Also, Ricky, this year, for the first time, you'll see it. You get -2 points if you don't mow in the Thursday Night Mowing League. So if you get rained out, tough luck. I don't give a what. You get -2, but you can get points if you want to do the other stuff, Ricky. You can add points to your total. And then at the end of the year, we will seed people based on their points. Trust me, I'm not keeping track. I'm keeping mental notes. I watch this stuff on a weekly basis. I know the Mowing League probably better than I know my kids at this point. So, folks, if you want to get in, look at the rules. It's right there on Twitter. It's not hard to find. Get in. Be patriotic. Look at JB down in Florida. Already this morning, Ricky, they've got to mow early in Florida because otherwise you get just soaking wet with sweat. So the Mowing League is off to a hot start. We have new blood, Ricky. We even have a lot of women that are in now. Everybody wants in. Retirees, millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, everybody's in. The emotions are high this year. There's even allegations of cheating. If you would believe that, the allegation is that people use stock video to make their weekly reports, and it's that they took stock video and then they claim that they mowed, Ricky. It sends people into a frenzy.
How about the WNBA television ratings without Caitlin Clark on the court? As her absence now extends past a couple of weeks now. She was reevaluated earlier this week. We don't know for sure when she's going to be back, but television ratings down 50% in her absence. But she continues to be a good luck charm for the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers beating the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in Game 3 in Indianapolis. They are now up 2-1. I say it all the time, the feisty Indiana Pacers. They just don't quit. They just don't go away. And look, Candace Parker said it just very recently. Caitlin Clark makes everybody around her better. She makes the Indiana players better, and apparently that extends even to the Indiana Pacers. She's such a marvel. Just her physical presence in the building makes these guys unbeatable. Undefeated 8-0 when Caitlin is there, and I don't know if she's going to be in the house for Game 4 or not. Do we know? I believe I'd pay her to be there if I was Tyrese Halliburton, just in case. Let's not take any chances. What else are we talking about with these NBA Finals? Well, the Larry O'Brien Trophy suddenly is the belle of the fucking ball here because people want to know why there's not appropriate decorations on the court to commemorate the fact that this is the NBA Finals. They do all kinds of shit for the NBA Cup. You've seen what the courts are decorated like. It's weird. But, you know, the NBA Finals, ho-hum. Just a regular old court. It looks naked, for God's sakes. And they're superimposing digitally the Larry O'Brien Trophy onto the court. Commissioner Adam Silver saying, you know, there are concerns that when you put the decal down and it's not a permanent part of the court, or you paint it, you put it down, it causes potential injury. You could slip on it. You could fall. You could get injured. But, you know, take a look at that. Back in the day, what year are we talking about here, Tim, that this shot is from there at the Staples Center? That looks like the fucking NBA Finals, don't it? I think it's very, very weird to be imposing this stuff digitally over the picture. Just, you know, whatever. And who at home does it mean that fucking much to that they're going to stick it on the court the way that they're doing it? The future is weird. Let's just face it. We live in weird times. And by the way, Super Sky Point, speaking of logos, to the man that is known as the logo, Zeke from Cabin Creek himself, Jerry West, who we lost a year ago today, Mr. Clutch. Anybody that has that many fucking nicknames, you know, was a bad man. Jerry West was so great when he played in the All-Star game, they let him wear his name on the front of his jersey and the back of his jersey. And there he is. That's it. I mean, for the 6 people who are uninitiated, the NBA logo is based on that photo. Have a good look at it. Scope it up and down. I know most people probably know that are watching this, but some might not. And if not, you're having a moment right now as it dawns on you the logo that you've been looking at for all these years is actually Jerry West. And he went on, obviously, to have a tremendous career as well as a GM in the league. A great man. Speaking of great men of modern times, Joey Chestnut, it appears, may be back at Coney Island this year, the 16-time hot dog eating champion. There's one for your resume. Do you put that on your resume if you're applying down at Costco or whatever? What are your qualifications? Well, I'm a 16-time world hot dog eating champion is who I am, motherfucker. And you're going to have to start me at higher than minimum wage due to that. Last year, he had a falling out with the Nathan's people. Nathan sponsors this hot dog eating contest every year at Coney Island. And Joey Chestnut struck a sponsorship deal with Impossible Foods, who make vegan hot dogs. And it didn't set well with the Nathan's people because they would do no such thing ever. But it looks like maybe fences are being mended, and we're going to see the greatest of stuffing hot dogs down his throat that the world has seen since Linda Lovelace is going to be back at Coney Island. And it's on. Is Kobayashi going to be there? He's the only other competitive eater that I'm aware of, is Kobayashi. I certainly hope that he's there so that we can have a Clubber Lang, Rocky Balboa level showdown that the people at Coney Island deserve. God damn it. Let's have the best on the grandest stage. It's what sports is all about. I'm all in favor of Joey Chestnut returning. And let's welcome to the program now a man whose hot dog is small enough that everybody could consume 58 of them. I speak, of course, of the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee, Roddy. I almost feel sorry for saying that. He has Roddy t-shirts. There it is. Listen, there may not be a lot of it, but it ain't vegan.
Can we get a counter
That's
so we can
American
just see?
dog.
Put a count. Can we get a counter up here so we know how many days in a row this will make the show? Like, I feel like this is about 17. Like, can we just see
it's
if we
the Nathan's cocktail weenie contest.
Vienna
this
sausage.
year.
Vienna sausage.
A triumph of the human spirit, available at fine booksellers and even not so fine booksellers everywhere. Ronnie, the U.S. Open is underway. I can't wait this afternoon to get a good look at the leaderboard, see who comes out and shits the bed. There's going to be at least a few big names probably that are going to come out and shoot 77, 78, 79, maybe higher today. We're going to see a couple of people surprise us probably, and we're going to be like, who the fuck was that guy and how did he shoot a 68? It's the fun of every major championship, but it's always, I think you will agree, I know you will agree, it's always a little more fun when it's the U.S. Open and there are very, very few red numbers on the scoreboard. Absolutely.
Now I'll tell you, I'm looking at live scoring right now, and there's a couple guys who are trying to ruin this for us. JJ Spawn is at JJ Spawn's at -4 through 13. Gary Woodland is -3 through 10. A couple other guys -1 or -2. So hopefully the pin placement gets a lot worse and makes it harder.
JJ Spawn is out of his fucking mind.
Like,
what, did he sell his soul to the devil earlier this week? Listen, -4 at Oakmont after 13. That's like being 11 under at the Greater Milwaukee Open. That's the kind of golf that this guy must be playing.
You know,
and it's possible that it's been overhyped again, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it does seem like it's a yearly ritual that we hear how impossible the conditions are. And then the tournament starts and we're like, well, maybe they're not as impossible as we were led to believe. I hope that that's not the case here at Oakmont.
I'm just trying to see if there's any big names.
Hoping. Yeah.
Like Patrick Cantlay is 4 over. So there's a couple big names that are big time over already. The only thing, you know, it's funny, we talk about, you know, the carnage and rooting for the course. The only other thing that I think that can top this is a British Open. What are they called? Pop bunkers? Like when when somebody hits into a pop bunker.
The best.
Oh, yeah. I want to see
and
like 13, 14.
Yes. And it's on some course that's been there since the 1400s, and every bunker has a name. They're like, well, that's a tough break for John Rahm. It looks like he's gone into the devil's asshole there by the 13th green. In 1971, it took Lee Trevino 28 strokes to get out. We still talk about it. Trevino's demise, as they call it here in Scotland. You know, I'm all fucking for it. Yeah. Every bunker has some great name. Oh no. It looks as though he may be in trouble now. Yeah, you're right. There's a reason the British is my favorite. That it's my favorite because the wind it gets stupid over there because they build these bunkers that you have to fucking go down into with a ladder and a flashlight. Yep. Yeah. You're like fucking Loretta Lynn's father going into the coal mine, just trying to get into a bunker just to get your ball out. So yeah, I love the British as well. But the US Open, these greens, Ron, I heard that they're running 16 on the stimp meter. At least they were earlier this week. And do you know what a stimp meter is, Ronnie?
I do.
Yeah. So they take the ball and they find a level place.
Right.
Yeah. And they roll it down and they see how far the ball rolls until it comes to a stop.
Right.
That is so stupid. I saw a guy, he was 122 yards out and he took his putter and he putted it 122 yards and ended up about 10 feet from the flag
I saw
stick.
that video. I saw the
Those
video
greens,
too.
it's crazy. So so JJ Spawn, God bless you. You must be having an out of body experience to be 4 under par as we're taping this. Ronnie, the Pope, I can't get over the fact. I really did not, for all the jokes, the Pope and everything that we've heard since we found out that the Pope is from Chicago. This is probably my favorite one. We knew he was a White Sox fan. He was captured on video back in 2005 at a White Sox game when they were in the World Series, when they won it back then 20 years ago. But here he is wearing a Sox cap. Now, if you look at the standings, he has not, apparently he hasn't asked God to perform a miracle.
No, he has not.
Or anything like that yet. Or maybe God got back to him and said, Leo, I know you're the Pope, but even I can only.
Or he said,
so
I'll just
much.
give you the Rockies. He says, I'll give you the Rockies, but I'm not going to make the White Sox better. I'll just give you the Rockies.
Yeah. It's, hey, look, pretty fucking cool, man. I never thought I would see a Pope who was a White Sox fan, even if he does like the wrong team here in Chicago. Kind of a cool thing. Hey, look, if you enjoy crazy shit like this, why don't you sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind, our new newsletter? I want you to head over to outkick.com/newsletters. Whatever garbage email you use for shit like this, just punch it in right there, sign up, and straight to your inbox every other Thursday, you're going to get something that I think is pretty cool. I spent a couple of hours writing up part of the Rewind yesterday, Ron. I had a lot of fun with it. I was answering questions that we received for the Margarita mailbag. I captioned a childhood photo from one of our followers. I, had my thoughts on the U.S. Open, the French Open that just completed, some various things that are going on. I broke down why the days of the week were ranked as they were in the post that I put up a few days ago, Ronnie. All of that and more. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's stuff that I don't really get an opportunity to do on X because I'm limited by the 280 characters. So get over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We got one dropping here today. So sign up and you'll be in on the party in time to enjoy today's newsletter, which is going to be a good one. All right, man, some sad news here as we wrap up the A block of this program. I do want to give a super sky point out to one of my musical heroes and somebody that I have enjoyed his stuff for so long, and it's not even really fair to say his stuff. We're talking about one of the greatest musical composers, not only of the 20th century, but of all time. Really, somebody that was a giant of the same stature, in my opinion, of your Mozarts and Beethovens. He just happened to live among us. Charles C.W. Cook on the program yesterday was talking about how his kids have a hard time looking at Aaron Judge, maybe in the historical context that he belongs in, because unlike Babe Ruth, who, is almost like a fictional character, he lived so long ago, they get to experience it. I hope that everybody who lived in Brian Wilson's time understands and appreciates just how great he was. Super Sky Point to Brian Wilson, one of the most incredible musical geniuses to ever grace this planet, and a gentle soul Pet Sounds remains a masterpiece waiting to be discovered by future generations. Brian had a hard life, but he gave us so much. St. Peter, grab your surfboard. Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Brian Wilson, R.I.P. I never met you. I had the pleasure to see you in concert one time, and the world was a better place for you being here with us. What the fuck, Ron?
Hi, Ricky.
How you doing, Ronnie?
Good. Is there something you haven't told us about? Something that's been going on? Were you down in Kentucky?
No. I haven't been to Kentucky in, I don't know. Last time I was in Kentucky was probably 6 months ago, Ron.
Well, what's this? What's this?
Oh, my God. It's Rocky. It's my boy Rocky. There. Well, listen, if a man can't ride a donkey while holding his raccoon, I don't even want to live in this society anymore, Ron. What the fuck is going on?
Take a look at this headline. This might be the greatest headline in the history of headlines. Can you read that?
Is that Jim Carrey in character there? What's happening?
Mule riding
Kentucky man. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Mule. So for those of you listening on podcast, mule riding Kentucky man accused of unleashing raccoon in bar after being turned away.
Well, first of all, mule riding Kentucky man is almost redundant. That's the primary means of transportation for 68% of adult males in Kentucky. So that part, whatever. It's life. Unleashing the raccoon in a bar after, did he go get him, Rocky?
Yeah. So
get him. So is this a trained assault raccoon?
So
rabid?
This is one of those situations where the headline isn't quite exactly what the story is, but the headline was so fantastic. We needed to go with it. And thanks to Grok and thanks to Colin for the visuals to start this thing off. So this is in Murray, Kentucky. A dude that's known as Cowboy Cody. He was actually
Go Racers.
Go Racers.
They're in the College World Series.
They play UCLA Saturday, so go Racers. So this guy in December got banned from a bar in Murray called Tap 216 because he rode his mule into town, goes in the bar and pulls a whip out and starts bullwhipping patrons. He gets thrown out. So this past weekend, he tries to get back in.
Wait a minute. He rode his mule into a bar and then took a whip
outside the bar
to a bar. And then he tied it to a post out front or some shit like that.
Yes.
And then he walked in and produced a bull whip and started whipping patrons.
Correct.
Is this what you're telling me?
That's correct.
Well, everybody needs a hobby. Everybody needs a hobby.
This past weekend, he tries to go back to said bar. They're like, no, get out. And he's like, you know what? You don't tell Cowboy Cody no. So he comes back with a raccoon and unleashes it in the bar. And that's how we ended up with that headline. Oh, now look. Okay.
You get him, Ronnie.
Colin,
you get him, Ron.
Colin, email that to me. I need to make a t-shirt. I need to make a t-shirt.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, email that to me, Colin.
Tonight. I'll tell you that right now. Hit that thing with a broom. Can you imagine the bartenders just whacking that
I'm your
with
little
a
buddy.
broom?
I'm your little buddy.
You're scurrying around. Good Lord. I think that maybe Pete Rose should have tried that. Maybe if he had gone to the Hall of Fame back in the early 90s and just thrown a raccoon in there, maybe they would have gotten the picture that you don't ban Pete Rose from places.
Yeah, so one of the best headlines I've ever seen.
You're adorable, Ron. There's a lot of people that are watching this program right now, and they're just thinking, I want one of those. You know what I mean? Just a little
you can't even look, and you can't even see my penis. It's so small.
You can't even. It's under there somewhere. It's like
a little Raccoon
golf ball. It's
a
just
little Raccoon. I like it.
It's buried in the fur. Yeah.
Oh, look at my ears. Look how my ears are sticking out. Look how my ears are sticking out. You see that?
I'm saying you're fucking You're fucking adorable.
I really am, aren't I?
That's the sweetest you've ever looked in your entire life.
Look at it. Just you and me you and me cuddling on a mule. Yeah, you and me just cuddling on a mule. I mean, that's perfect.
Baby Ron Baby Ron
Oh my God.